Next, what are the benefits of integrated ALM? First benefit is data visibility across tools. So get to see that what you are missing. For example, if I'm a QA engineer, I work for a QA team, and we are developing a product, and the requirements are being defined in a different tool, and I work in a different test management tool. So unless I get an email, if these two tools are not connected, then I have to depend on emails or phone calls to know that a new requirement has come up. And that requirement, when it comes to me in the form of a document or an email, I type it in to my test management tool, and then I start defining the test cases against that. So this is when we are not using integrated ALM. But if we are using integrated ALM, the requirement, as soon as it is approved in the requirements management tool, it will automatically show up inside the test management tool as a new requirement, new test requirement. So the tester can easily, whenever he opens the test management tool, will be able to see the new requirement and start working on it immediately. So there's no time wasted in waiting for manual communication. And the data from the requirements management tool becomes visible inside my test management tool. Not only that, it remains synchronized, so whenever changes are happening in the requirements management tool, those will show up inside my test management tool. So that sort of removes the problem of working on obsolete requirements. Often it happens that I was working on requirements, and after 2 days I got a message that the requirement I was working on is no longer valid. It is or it has changed significantly, which requires my test cases to be changed as well. So these sort of wastage of time are avoided if we are using integrated ALM. The second important point is traceability between objects in different tools. So traceability is specifically when we are working with requirements, specifically the traceability is easy to maintain in requirements management tools, but when we try to trace it to artifacts that are being managed in other tools, it is very difficult to do that because none of these two tools support relationships between their artifacts with outside artifacts. So what is required? We need to probably copy the IDs, put it in an Excel and maintain it manually. And that is a cumbersome process. But in integrated ALM, what we get is we get the ability to establish traceability between the objects that are managed in different tools. And that makes our life very easy in terms of change management and impact analysis. And that is very critical when we are talking about the quality of software. Third point here is process automation across tools. So often it is required that small pieces of automation can gel together the entire scenario of all the disparate tools and can save a lot of time which is spent in handshaking between these tools, between these different teams which may be again geographically separated. So if we can automate these processes, that the handshaking happens automatically and people are notified immediately if they need to work on something. So those kind of process automations should also be possible in an integrated ALM scenario. And the fourth point, and probably the most important point, is the ability to get dashboards and reports from data that is coming across from different tools. So it produces real-time metrics and KPI of related data from various tools. This is important in the sense that if you are asking for a report from a management point of view and your particular project team is using, say, 10 tools, then probably 4 or 5 different teams need to get busy by taking out the data from their respective tools and sending it to someone in between who will be consolidating that, aggregating that manually in maybe a Excel or something like that, and manually produce this report. So that's first of all going to take a lot of time, and secondly, that is an error-prone way of doing things. But in integrated ALM, you should be able to get that at the click of a button, because the consolidated data from all tools is being used automatically